So today in math we talked about a multiplication strategy called the area model. An area model is a way that we can multiply 2, 3, and 4-digit numbers by a single digit. So we're going to start with the problem 18 times 9. We've already talked about strategies of how we could add 18 9 times, but we know that's a lot of work. We've talked about how we could draw base 10 models or use a place value chart, but those can also take a lot of time and be very confusing. So today we're just going to talk about the area model strategy. And so the first thing we do when we use the area model strategy is we take our bigger factor and we're going to break it. And I think about 18 is the same as 10 plus 8. So it's kind of like writing that 18 in expanded form. So I'm going to write 10 plus 8, that makes 18, and then I'm going to draw my area box, and I'm going to multiply that by the other factor 9. And so here I'm going to find two partial products, two parts to my problem. So my first box would have an area of 10 times 9. So 10 times 9 is 90. So I know the area of the first box is 90. And then the area of my second box would be 8 times 9, which I know would be 72. So I have my two parts, 90 and 72. Now I'm going to add them back together to find my product. So 0 plus 2 is 2. 9 plus 7 is 16. So 18 times 9 would give me 162. So again, the first thing we're doing is we are writing our biggest factor in expanded form. So write your largest factor in expanded form, breaking apart the hundreds, the tens, the ones. Then my second part is I'm going to multiply each part by my other factor, so by the single digit factor. And then my final step is I am going to add all my parts together. So if we follow those steps, and let's say I gave you the problem 863 times 5. And that's the problem I want us to solve. And I want us to solve that using the area model. So step 1 says that we are going to write our largest factor in expanded form. So that would be 800 plus 60 plus 3. So 800 plus 60 plus 3. Then I'm going to make my area box. And I like to put my lines where my plus signs are. And then I'm going to multiply that by my other factor, which would be 5. So now I'm going to multiply each part. So if I think of this area of this rectangle right here, this would be like saying 800 times 5, which I know 8 times 5 is 40. And then I've got 2 zeros to add to my answer. So that box is worth 4,000. In the next box, I'm multiplying 60 times 5. Well, I know 6 times 5 is 30. And then I have another 0 to put on my answer because I'm doing 60 times 5. And now I'm going to say 3 times 5, which I know is 15. So I have each of these partial products. These are called partial products because they're part of my final answer. And now I'm going to take and I'm going to add these. So I'm going to add 4,000. So I'm adding my areas here. I'm going to add 300 and then I'm going to add 15 to it. So I know this is 5, 0, 1, 3, 4. So my answer, my product, becomes 4,315. I can see if that's reasonable by saying, well, 800 is about 900. Times 5 would be about 4,500, and so my answer is close, 4,315. So we can also do this for even larger numbers. So if I said, let's say 1,207, and we're going to multiply that by 6. So 1,207 times 6. So again, step 1 said I want to write my larger factor in expanded form. So I'm going to say 1,000 plus 200 plus 0 plus 7. We don't have to include that 0. Then I'm going to draw my area model box. I'm going to split it into the 4 different parts because I have 4 different numbers. And then I'm going to multiply each one of these by 6. So I know 1,000 times 6 makes this box worth 6,000. I know 200 times 6 makes that 1,200 because 2 times 6 is 12 and 2 zeros on the end. I know 0 times 6 is 0. And then I know 7 times 6 is 42. So each of these are my individual parts. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to add those parts together. So I have 6,000. Then I have 1,200, so making sure that's lined up. I don't have to add in the 0. And then 42, so making sure that's lined up. Now I'm going to add 0 plus 0 plus 2 is 2. 0 plus 0 plus 4 is 4. 0 plus 2 is 2. And 6 plus 1 is 7. So I have the answer 7,242. So I know area model is a little different from the traditional model, which we will get to later. But as for now, I want you to practice the area model. Again, it's very simple. Write your biggest number in expanded form. Multiply each part of it by the other factor, and then that will give you each of these partial products, and then you can add them together.